Hi, welcome to the Navigate to the Dark Side demo theater. I'm Vivian Quach.
And I am Ting Chen.
We are both product engineers on the Runtime team and work directly on the Samples app. Today we'll teach you how to adapt your iOS apps to dark mode. First, let's discuss why we should even adapt dark mode. Is it necessary? Does every app need it? And what are the benefits? iOS 13 introduced a system-wide dark mode theme. If the user opts into dark mode, they will expect the theme to stay consistent throughout. Because of this, Apple's Human Interface Guidelines recommend that all apps comply with the selected system-wide appearance. For most people, bright screens and backgrounds cause eye strain, especially bright screens in low lighting. Perhaps your users will be working in a dark environment. Maybe they're navigating an underground infrastructure, tracking a fire while the sky is dark. Having dark mode could help users physically. It's also convenient to give your users a choice. We all have personal preferences, and allowing the user to have that option will provide a better user experience. Not only can dark mode be beneficial for your users, but it can be beneficial for your devices as well. Depending on the app and usage, studies have shown that using dark mode can save up to 30% of battery life on OLED technology. In short, dark mode has become an integral part of the user experience. Now, how do we even adapt to dark mode? What do we need to change? What colors should we use? As some of you may know, the Runtime SDK offers some unique features like callouts, pop-ups, and OAuth login. And to make your dark mode adaptation a little easier, these features automatically adapt to dark mode. But if that's not your style, you can, of course, opt out of the adaptation. Adapting the base map is not necessary to making your app dark mode compatible. However, it is recommended if the base map takes up a large portion of the screen. As of the newest Runtime update 100.10, we have a selection of base maps with light and dark counterparts, such as light gray, dark gray, navigation, navigation night, just to name a few. These pairings can be used to adapt dark mode. Some of the main features to focus on adapting are UI views, UI controls, labels, buttons, and text. Most of these changes are best done in the storyboard. The best way to make the adaptation seamless is to use system colors. Most, if not all, system colors defined by Apple will automatically adapt to light or dark mode according to the system's selected theme. Since the system does most of the work for us, avoid using custom colors. They will not change automatically. Only use custom colors for items that can stay the same color in either light or dark mode, perhaps important icons or your brand's theme colors. When you do use system colors, you can add a color set asset to your app's asset catalog and specify the light and dark variants of the color so that it adapts to the current appearance mode. Lastly, to ensure that both appearances look uniform and adhere to the dark mode guidelines, test them both in different lighting and settings. You want to make sure that everything is legible and nothing looks out of place. We've collected a few resources that helped us navigate to the dark side, and we hope that you will find them useful as well. You can view Apple's developer website and human interface guidelines for their official documentation about how to best adapt dark mode. We've also included a link to our samples app repository where every sample has adapted to dark mode. All of the code from this demo is available for your convenience as well. These links, along with this entire presentation, will be provided. You may also feel free to take a screenshot now. Let's take a look at how Runtime has supported dark mode.
In this portion of the demo, I'll show you some of our unique runtime features that automatically adapt to dark mode. This is a map of the San Francisco area. The feature layer displays reported incidents such as fallen trees and blocked sidewalks. Here in my code, I've used the ArcGIS pop-ups view controller. As I select a feature, the pop-up appears which shows information about the selected feature. I'm currently in light mode. Notice the light background and dark text. As I switch to dark mode, however, the background and the text have changed to match the dark mode theme. In this next portion of the code is a callout. Switching back into light mode, notice a callout displaying the coordinates of the selected location. Same thing here, light background, dark text. Watch as I switch to dark mode, it now has a dark background with light text. And just like that, this app is dark mode ready. I didn't have to do any extra changes to the storyboard or source code. We've already done the work for you. However, you can always opt out of this adaptation by using the Override User Interface Style property. Runtime will also automatically adapt OAuth sign-in pages, which will be shown later during the Maps app demo.
Next, let's discuss how to handle base map adaptations.
This demo will showcase how to detect system appearance changes and how to change the base map accordingly. Let's look at a simple app that displays a base map. Notice that when I toggle between light and dark modes, the base maps will also change. With a light gray base map in light mode and a dark gray base map in dark mode. Let's take a look at the code. The first step is to override the trait collection didChangeDelegate method on a UI view controller class. When the system appearance changes, this delegate method will get called. We pass the corresponding user interface style to the makeBaseMap method. Next, in the makeBaseMap method, we create a light gray basemap for light mode and a dark gray basemap for dark mode. Then, the correct basemap is returned. Finally, when initializing the map view, we create the first basemap with the current trait collection's interface style. This will ensure that the correct basemap is displayed. Next, let's take a look at the basemap styles available in ArcGIS Runtime. Here's a snippet that shows some of the available basemap style pairs in our newest Update 10 of Runtime. Take a look at these basemaps and their counterparts. Notice how the dark basemaps go along nicely with the dark mode theme. Next, let's take a look at the code and see how you can apply it to your app. First, we made each pair of light and dark basemaps into a tuple for easy access when we want to switch back and forth between modes. Then, we used a computed variable to determine the current interface style and apply its corresponding basemap. Finally, we assigned the new basemap whenever the appearance changes within the delegate method.
In the previous demos, we learned different components in Runtime that support dark mode by default. We also learned how to swap basemaps to follow the system appearance. Let's now head into our real Maps app and see how we would apply these knowledges. Please note, a link to the open source Maps app we used for the demos is included in the previous resources slide. You can also easily find it on GitHub simply by searching Esri/Maps-app-iOS to find the source code. The link to the demo app after adaptation can also be found in the slide. In the storyboards where we drew the interfaces for this Maps app, there are several considerations that we should be aware of before we start to making the adaptation. For example, we might want to focus on the color usage in different UI views, the appearance of images, icons, and buttons, and the color for text labels, as well as other considerations and inconsistencies you may spot when you first toggle your app to dark mode. Let's see some examples. Here we have the Maps app for adapting to dark mode. The simulator on the left shows the app in the default light appearance, and on the right is the dark appearance. Now, let's log in to access the map resources hosted on ArcGIS Online. Apparently, the app doesn't look good in dark. It still shows a white background. After logging in, there are several issues at first sight. The background is still in light color, the text turned white, which makes it unreadable, and the bottom constraint is incorrect. It shows a white background of the rig view. Let's take another closer look at the other parts of the app. Try to search for a destination. As I type, you can see the text is washed out at white color and is not readable. The return location information view is also illegible, and all the UI elements are still in white. Many elements don't look bad in light appearance, but we definitely want them fixed in the dark appearance. First, let's follow the workflow and launch the app. To access the map resources, we will first log into ArcGIS Online. As you can see, the app has a white background. Why? This is typical for a legacy app, which is created way before Apple introduced dark mode. At that time, iOS doesn't support color variants for the same view, so the color is set to white. Let's take another look at the main storyboard and focus on the account login page, which we saw just now. There are two pages associated with this view controller. One is for the login and the other is for logout. On the login page, we will fix each subview's background color so that they look right. Instead of using the default clear color for the root view, Apple recommends using the system background color nowadays, and that is the default for newly created apps. These colors automatically changes according to system appearance. Now, here's a trick that you can use to check if the color changes look correct in both light and dark modes. At the bottom of the interface builder, there's a View As button. Click to expand it, and you will see there is an appearance menu. Use it to toggle between light and dark mode to preview the changes directly in storyboards instead of rebooting and running the app itself. This could be handy if your app takes longer to build. We also want to fix a color where all the maps and resources are displayed. Let's click into that view controller. Since it is a collection view, we may choose a more semantic system color for its background. Say, system grouped background color instead of the normal system background color. Looks good in light. Let's check out how it looks like in dark. Good. Then we go back to the logout page. What we typically do for a generic page is to reset its root view's background to system background color and set all other subviews background color to default. This is a future-proof approach in case Apple may further change the color system in storyboard. For the text area below, since it serves as a filled background, let's use a system filled color for it, which is also translucent. Let's run the app again. And go to the account page. While you can still see the white margin below, other views are definitely looking better now. We will need to gradually iterate on these changes to reach a state where we are all satisfied with the app's look and feel. Second, when we start searching for directions, we will notice that the search bar doesn't look good in dark mode. The text is white, which is expected, but the bar itself is still bright. And the drop-down list is actually working correctly. Let's go to the storyboard to find out what needs to be fixed. As we described before, we can use the appearance buttons to figure out how do these wheels look like in dark. So let's toggle over. You see, the subviews in the container view works mostly correctly. The problem actually lies in the container view itself. Let's click it and check its colors. Aha! The problem is also with its background. Let's fix it. And preview again. Nice. Build and run the app. Now the search bar looks more consistent with white text, dark background, and dark drop-down list. Third, let's tackle the buttons with images and icons. In the main page on the right, there is a button panel that has several buttons with imagery icons. They have black tint and white background even in dark mode, which definitely doesn't look good. How to fix them? First, as always, we fix their background color. Here, I choose the system grouped background color, but it is your call for what color to use. Let's preview it to see if it looks good. Okay. Then, we need to take a look at the image. You see, the image is actually black. There are two ways to mitigate that. One is to have a pair of images or glyph for both light and dark, which is quite cumbersome. The other way is to render it as a template image if the image is monochromatic. Let's see how to do that. Open the image in the main asset catalogs. On the right panel, change Render As to Template Image so that we can apply a tint color to that image. We'll do that for the other icons. Back to the storyboard. You can see now the icons turn into blue. That blue tint is the default tint color for a button. We want to keep its original look, which is black in light mode and white in dark, so that we use the label color to tint it, which does exactly that. Let's give another preview. Looks good. Apply and run the app again. The icons now show in correct color. Fourth, SF symbols. It is a new idea Apple introduced in iOS 13 and kept growing in iOS 14. Instead of using custom icons, we can use the SF symbols to represent tasks and types of content in a variety of UI elements, such as navigation bars, toolbars, tab bars, context menus, and widgets. This has many benefits, including a more consistent styling that resembles Apple's official apps, as well as being optimized for both light and dark appearances. Let's remove the previous image from the Undo button and search for the name for SF symbol. You may wonder how to do that. Apple provides us a handy Mac OS app, also called SF Symbols, which can be downloaded from Apple developer website. In the search bar, we can search for the semantic name of the icon in name, in this case Undo, which gives us arrow U-turn backward. Copy and paste the name of the symbol to the button's image property, and also apply the tint. We will do the same for the other icon, the redo icon, which results in a U-turn forward SF symbol, and also apply the tint. Since they look a little bit smaller than the original icons, we can change their scale to large to match our original design. Let's do another preview. Look pretty good. Run the app and try them out. Yay! Now we have the buttons fully dark mode adaptive and also better resembling a native iOS app. In the following demo, we will talk about the color set asset catalog and how to use it to provide additional dark mode adaptive colors for our app. In Apple's Human Interface Guidelines, using dynamic color is recommended. There are two types of dynamic colors in general: the dynamic system semantic colors and the custom color set asset catalog. The semantic colors, like label color or link color, automatically changes to the current appearance. They come with iOS 13 by default. When you need a custom color, add a color set asset to your app's asset catalog and specify the light and dark variants of that color so that it can adapt to the current appearance mode. Avoid using hard-coded color values or colors that don't adapt. Let's see how we migrate our app to use color sets and how it relates to the dark mode adaptation. First, let's see how to add dynamic custom colors with Color Asset Catalog. Open the main asset catalog of the app. Click on the plus button at the bottom left corner, or right-click on the blank to add a color set. When the color set is added, you will see two boxes for light and dark appearances. Let's rename this color set as Esri Green, so that later we can easily refer to it with a semantic name. Now I added a few colors to our asset catalog. We can see on the screen that there are three colors in the group: Esri Blue, Green, and Violet. Now you may wonder, how did I came up with those colors and their names? Here at Esri, we have a branding guideline where we can find the cross-organization brand colors. I use both Esri Green and Blue color to follow a standardized branding language. On the next page, here are some more colors that we can use. I chose two colors from each three columns to form a color set with both light and dark mode colors. In terms of using them in code, we can simply call the named color initializer for UI color class. We can also safely force unwrap that color as we are sure that they exist in the asset catalog. With these color sets we just created, we can easily fix the custom colors we used in storyboard views. Go to the main storyboard and go to the directions card down below. Here, I want to change the background color to a dynamic green color. You can easily use this named color directly in a storyboard, as you can see here on the top. We also have a range of dynamic system colors from Apple. These system colors are named semantically, which means the names for them can easily understood. They are also used across iOS, for example in the Settings app, as well as in App Store, etc. We can also preview their appearances in Storyboard. Let's go back to the Esri Green color. Preview and compile and run the app to see the changes. Now we have the directions card in a beautiful Esri Green background. Moreover, when we toggle to dark mode, the color also dims a little bit to fit into a darker theme. You see, as you may tell, the color looked really awesome. Many other apps use this technique. For example, Apple Maps used the dynamic system red color for the drop pin on the map, and Google used a custom green color for their next directions card, just name a few. So far, we've done some really great job to make our Maps app dark mode adaptive. Finally, let's compare the Maps app before and after the adaptation. Open the ArcGIS Online folder. The color looks great and the layout is more compact, thanks to a better constraint setting. Then we open the base map menu. It'll also look cleaner and a little bit more modernized. We're also using one of the base maps with dark style for this demonstration, for example, the streets map. As you can see, the dark theme base map looks really consistent with the other UI elements. We then do the routing in both apps in dark mode. The search bar now works fine. The top routing results view also looks good. And the next direction card down below are decorated with a beautiful Esri green color. The new app looks gorgeous, whereas the app before adaptation looked a little bit sad. Now, let's switch back and forth between light and dark mode and see how the app behaves. The new app, fantastic, look good, both in light and dark. Base map changes, icon changes, and the UI is fully dark mode adaptive, while the original app only works fine in light mode. In this demo, we learned how to use color asset catalog or color sets to convert existing custom colors to named color sets. This technique applies to both colors declared in code and in storyboard. In addition, consider consulting your design team to find the organization-wide branding color palette for a consistent visual appearance among your products. To sum up, there are lots of things to improve in the storyboards. Things to change follow a certain hierarchy. Think from the root view to the subviews. Try to avoid setting excessive colors in your UI and just pursue simplicity. Also, harness the power of dark mode preview feature in the storyboard to facilitate your journey to the dark side. This process might be a little bit try-error-like, but eventually the payback is huge. Nonetheless, you've made the app adhere to the latest submission guidelines for App Store, but you also created a professional and modern-looking mapping app for a greater audience. Nice job, developer. Thanks for your efforts.
Thank you for joining us today. We hope this helped you navigate to the dark side.